If I hear the words, "How are you?" one more time, I swear my head will explode. And listen, I grew up in Ukraine and small talk was not a thing. And here in Portugal, it's kind of a thing, but not so much. But in the US, it's like an Olympic sport. So today I'm going to give you 10 ways to start a conversation in English that will make you sound very natural. No awkward vibes, no outdated phrases, just good old feel-good English. And by the way, in case you don't already know me, my name is Dasha, and on this channel I teach English and help you take it to the next level. And just to give you a little bit of background, in Ukraine, for example, like I already said, small talk is not that common. In fact, when you walk around smiling on the street, people will look at you in a really weird way, like, why is this person smiling? And so beginning conversations with just strangers is not something very common. And even if you begin a conversation with a friend, you're more direct. You jump straight into it. Whereas in countries like the US, that's not the case. Small talk is really, really common. And it's very similar in the UK as well. I've lived there for 7 years and I cannot tell you how many times I've been asked about the weather. And I admit, I myself have talked about the weather with my friends, with my colleagues, and sometimes even strangers. So yeah, if you're going to travel to the US or maybe even the UK, get ready for small talk. Okay, so let's jump into it. The first phrase is, "Hey, what's new with you?" It's more of a very casual way than saying just "How are you?" And you could say, for example, "Hey, long time no see. What's new with you?" Or alternatively, you could always say, "Can you believe this weather?" And this one is so common in the UK, like I've already said. And listen, you can use it with literally anyone on any occasion. So you can say, "Can you believe this rain? It was sunny like 10 minutes ago." The third one, "How's your day going?" Again, this is used a lot in stores, in coffee shops, maybe even in the office, at work, and it's extremely common in the US. So you could say, "Hey, how's your day going so far?" Then you could always say, "Hey, what are you up to this weekend?" It's pretty flexible. It's good with coworkers, classmates, and generally somebody that you already have some familiarity with, right? You're not going to ask a complete stranger this question. So you could say, "Any fun plans for the weekend?" And now imagine you're standing in a queue at a Starbucks. You can literally turn around to someone and say, "Oh, can you believe this line?" Or "Can you believe this queue?" Or you could say, "This line is crazy, huh?" And it's used more like an icebreaker, right? Just to start a conversation with a random person. I know it can sound really weird depending on where you're from, but this legitimately happens in countries like the US. Imagine you're standing in a queue and you can say, "Oh, this line is insane. Do they have just one person working here?" And this is something that I've noticed and I absolutely love when I do travel to the US, and it's happened to me so many times, not because I'm some kind of a fashionista or anything, but people do compliment each other on how they look, on their appearance. So you could, for example, comment on somebody's clothing, like let's say that you like somebody's shirt, you could say, "That's a really nice shirt," or "That's a really nice pair of shoes." And I remember this one time I was, I think, at Walmart or something like that, and I had these fluffy shoes from Zara that I thought were really, really cute. And this random stranger just stopped me literally in the middle of the store and he said, "Oh my God, I love those shoes." And then you could also use the phrase, "How do you know someone's name?" And this one is more used during networking events or in a conversation when somebody's name comes up. You could, for example, just ask your friend, "Oh, how do you know Carlos?" Because his name came up in the conversation. So it's a way to find out how you have this person that both of you know in common. And again, similarly, let's say that you're at an event or a conference, for example, and you could walk up to a total stranger and you can say, hey, is this your first time here? Just to know, is it their first time at this conference? Is it their first time at this event or something along those lines? And by the way, with every one of these phrases, they're just conversation starters that you can probably use with people that you don't know. So one of the phrases could just lead to something else, something else, something else, and a whole conversation will flow. Now imagine that you're walking on the street or you're at a coffee shop or something like that, and you see somebody that you think you know or who looks familiar. You could say, I've seen you around. Do you work close by or do you live nearby? And this one is friendly, but of course a little bit cautious because maybe you don't know that person and you could be mistaken, but I don't think there's anything wrong with starting an innocent conversation with somebody new, somebody that you don't know, and who could maybe become a friend. And finally, another conversation opener or small talk is, this place has the best coffee, for example, or this place has the best steak sandwiches. And again, this works well when you're at a place like a coffee shop or at a restaurant and you could just comment to someone, oh, this place has the best coffee. You could do this with a friend, you could do this with a complete stranger, it doesn't really matter. And look, small talk is not about being fake, it's about being open. It's about being sociable in different situations. When you meet a person for the first time, you don't need to talk about deep things with them and overshare. So use these phrases as a tool to get to know people a little bit better and generally to make connections and maybe make somebody smile. And remember, be genuinely interested in the person you're talking to. The goal is to sound natural and confident. Let me know in the comments below which of these phrases you will use this week. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to never miss another English lesson.